We're going to go ahead and take a look at the module of 2.02. What happens after college? In this example, or in this document here, you're going to have to pick two different career choices. This deals with the idea of opportunity cost. In fact, that you do not have the ability to do two different things at once. By choosing one career path, you are giving up the opportunity of choosing something else. There are trade-offs in life. We know this when we have $10 and it's time to go eat. If we spend those $10 to go buy pizza, then we can't use the $10 for Chick-fil-A. The way that you spend your time after high school is the same exact choice. You can either choose to pursue one career or you can choose to pursue another. This document here on 2.02 is going to help you figure out which path is best. In here, you're going to have to choose two different career choices and list out the job descriptions, the requirements and schooling necessary to obtain that career, the potential salary and benefits, including your retirement or health care, and then the opportunities for advancement of whether or not you have the ability to advance and become higher ranking. For example, if you want to start off as just a stock clerk at Target, you might be able to work your way up to working at the cash register and then assistant manager, manager, general manager. And you have the ability to branch out in different avenues. You could go into something like human resources and HR, or you could stay in management. You are going to have to weigh the pros and cons, or the costs and benefits of each career path. The cost is what you would have to give up. Is it a lot of time and sacrifice? Does the job require you to move around a lot and travel? Is it stressful and emotionally draining? Or is it something where you receive a huge amount of joy and reward, not just financially, but emotionally from that job as well? You feel as if you're doing something positive for your family and the community. After you've filled out these categories, you're going to have to answer these questions down here. We'll go over that later. An example here that I have is a basic comparison between a teacher and a firefighter. For a job description of a teacher, you might have something along the lines of 7.5 hours, and you're responsible for student safety, learning, environmental impacts. I'm predominantly going to just lecture, grade, answer emails, call parents, go to meetings, help peers with tech or educational issues. Please notice that this is in much more detail than something vague like this, where firefighters, yes, they're going to put out the fires, they're going to predominantly take their time and answer many calls to car accidents, but they also have to become an EMT. Just writing EMT would not be acceptable for this category. We need you to have a lot more detail. The requirements for becoming a teacher include things like a 4-year degree and passing multiple tests. And then you're also required to have continuing educational courses of 120 hours every 5 years. The benefits include something along the lines of $52,000 a year, which is roughly $33 an hour, with health insurance, and $1,800 a year in retirement benefits. This is much different than when someone just puts down $40,000. I need to make sure that you guys understand that you're expected to have a certain level of detail. These details can be found by just simply making some Google searches. For example, you could just type into Google job description of a nurse practitioner, and when you do that, there are many sites that can pop up. If you were to take your time and look through some of these searches, you'll be able to understand and give yourself a better idea of what a nurse practitioner actually does. They even break it down for you, telling you what you'll do in a daily job description. And on average, what percentage of nurses actually are needed for those job descriptions. You could also type into Google, if you have no idea, salaries for certain officers. You'll notice that there's a range here. When you start off, your salary is going to be much lower than if you're 15 years into the job. I'm 15 years now into my job, and that's why I was able to put down $52,000 a year. When I started, I was making closer to that of $37,000 a year being a teacher. So the pay scale can be different. I need you to understand that you're not going to start off by making the average. You will most likely start off at the lower end. This is important because you're going to use these salaries to eventually, in the next area, create an after-tax amount. You will eventually use that after-tax amount of your salary in the budget of 2.08 worksheet. You will create a budget that is based off the salaries that you're choosing here and the after-tax amount that you calculate in the next worksheet of 2.03. Once you've gone ahead and filled all of this out, you'll come down here and try and compare and contrast the two to determine which one is best for you. You're going to want to justify your responses and explain why you believe one is better than the other. Please make sure that you are not simply stating one is better because it makes more money. Yes, most employees are motivated financially, and they want to seek a job that provides them with a larger amount of money, but money isn't everything. Remember, you're going to have to be at this job most likely for 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, for at least 30 years. You want to spend a little bit of time and choose something that you like. The last thing you'd like to do is try and spend a few years gaining the proper education and licensing to become that professional, and then in the first 6 months realize you hate the job because you didn't have an accurate understanding of what the description was. Please do not get fooled by what is known as the Hollywood version of a job. Many individuals have what is known as a Hollywood version of a job, where they think, oh, I've seen that on TV, that must be what they do. In reality, that's not the case. Many police officers are portrayed in Hollywood as being action-packed jobs, when in reality, the majority of their time is spent doing paperwork. Many people might think that being a pharmacist is someone sitting in a lab creating new medicines, but in reality, oftentimes, pharmacists are on their feet for long periods of time, standing behind the counter at the CVS counting pills. They're paid very well, and they are required a high level of education, but oftentimes our perception of what we think a job is not what happens in reality. Take some time. This will benefit you in the real world. Hope you guys learned something.